1 year ago, I did something a little silly. I got rid of my perfectly reliable, perfectly maintained Toyota 4Runner to buy this, an INEOS Grenadier. It is a British car built in an old smart car factory in France with a BMW motor. So this was a bit concerning. I don't know if I made the best decision. In fact, when I bought this car, I had a couple concerns. And now that it's been a year, we're going to talk about those concerns, how they turned out, and also how my INEOS Grenadier ownership has been for an entire year, complete with all of our warranty work that we've had done. One year ago, before buying this car, my first concern was reliability. It has a pretty good warranty, but do I want to be bringing it into the service center all the time to have warranty work done? And the biggest part of that concern was the motor. It has a BMW motor. I had a BMW before. All it did was leak oil. This is an inline six, a B58 twin turbo motor, and it's supposed to be one of the most reliable motors BMW has ever made. It's reliable enough that Toyota put it in the Supra, and it's been reliable enough for me for a year that all the problems I've had have had nothing to do with the powertrain. So the problems I have had, these cars, if you research them, do your research before you buy them, you'll find there's a couple common traits that you either get it or you don't. One is the Safari windows, the really cool windows in the roof of the car. They might leak. Ours leak. Your air conditioner. People have said the air conditioner can have a mind of its own. It blows cold when you want hot. It blows hot when you want cold. It blows sometimes not at all when you want it to blow. And we had that issue. Our AC it's crazy. Your infotainment system here, which is your only screen, so it has your speedometer, kind of important. Sometimes that just likes to go completely black and not work. The power steering reservoir is known to, it's known to leak power steering fluid, but this one's dry. Ours was leaking, but the first time I changed the oil, and we'll talk about servicing it in a minute, but the first time I changed the oil, I put an aftermarket seal on it, which has done great because now it's not leaking. And there are some other just general complaints, specifically about the electronics on this car, about the fuel gauge, how accurate it is, a bunch of safety features. They're not really smart safety features, so they're always telling you you're about to die when you're really not about to die. Little electrical gremlins, we've also had all of those. So really, a year in, it's just been little things and little annoying things that have to keep getting fixed and fixed and fixed. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. But all the things you want to work on your truck or on your 4x4, your engine, your transmission, your transfer case, your drive shafts, your axle, all that stuff, like, it has been incredibly bulletproof. Number two was maintenance, which I guess I have to open the hood again. But when I say maintenance, I mean, I like to do my maintenance on my own car. So would I be able to do my own maintenance on this vehicle? And even if I wanted to have a dealer do it, my closest dealer can be a 2.5 hour round trip depending on traffic. And the answer is yes, you can do the vast majority of the maintenance on this vehicle. And in fact, we have a little over 10,000 miles on it. INEOS says you shouldn't get your first service done. The car's supposed to tell you when to get the service, but you shouldn't get your first service done until about 10 to 12,000 miles. I don't trust that. Again, BMW engine. I've had BMW engines that leak oil. So I already changed the oil in this thing once, and it was actually a super easy oil change. This is the INEOS filter, and this down here is the most difficult thing about an INEOS oil change. The oil that this thing uses, specifically, it is a 0W20 LL-17 FE plus oil. It's hard to find. When I tried to change the oil on this, every other oil change I've ever done, I go to Walmart and I get the oil because it's cheap, and they have everything. They have Mobil 1, they have the right viscosities, they have everything, but they didn't have that specific 17 LLE FE plus. They didn't have that. So I went to an auto parts store. They didn't have it. I went to another auto parts store. They didn't have it. I went to Summit Racing Supply. There's 3 or 4 Summit Racing Supplies in the country. I happened to live in a town with one of them, and they didn't have it. So I wound up ordering it online. So all in with filter, 2 5-quart containers and filter, like $120 to change the oil myself. That was easy considering INEOS wants $1,200 to do your first service, but that service does include a few other things. So I changed my oil. The problem is you can't reset the oil maintenance reminder. There's a countdown that tells you it's time to service, and even though you change your oil, you can't reset it. People on the forums have proposed solutions. There's different OBD computers you can buy. I've bought 2 different ones and tried them. Neither of them worked. And so it's annoying, but also it's not just that, it's everything. You need to change your brake pads. There's a brake pad sensor. You can't reset that. You need to pair a battery to the car. It's a BMW, it has to have a battery paired to the car. You can't do that. So you can do the service, you just can't do the coding and the computer work that service unfortunately requires, even on something that's supposed to be as old school as this. Closing the lid on this thing is just so satisfying. You literally just hold it like a foot up here and drop it. That's how it closes. If you're any softer on it, it doesn't want to close. But as far as maintenance goes, INEOS did do something pretty cool. They sent me, and if you're an owner, you can send them your VIN number and some proof of ownership, and they'll send this to you, at least for the first year, for free. They sent me the service manual, the full technical manual of this vehicle, complete with 3D drawings and diagrams and literally walkthroughs how to take everything apart, put everything back together. So it seems like they want you to do your own maintenance, but just we need access to the computers. Hopefully we get there. So if we're keeping track, reliability, which was number one, is pretty good. Number two, which is maintenance, a little more difficult, but still okay. And my third concern before buying my INEOS Grenadier was price. These are not cheap vehicles. Very easy to have a pretty standard one with a couple options out the door. You're spending over $100,000. And like there's some things at 100 grand you think you'd get, like power seats, they're manual seats, adaptive cruise control. Nope, you press a button. But honestly, like it's been a year, I don't miss any of that stuff, and I'd rather have a truck with good axles and good shocks and like good running gear than, but honestly, like how expensive is a power, it's already a leather seat, like you couldn't just give me power seats? Nope, whatever, it's fine, it doesn't bother me. The other thing about price is there is definitely an INEOS tax. And when I say INEOS tax, I mean any part you buy for it is more expensive than it should be. My 4Runner was lifted, had cool bumpers. My Jeep before that was lifted, cool bumpers. Anything you wanted to do to any of those vehicles, it was seriously like $500. Bumper on a Jeep, $500. Lift kit, $500. Like unless you're going crazy, there are Lego sets where everything was just $500. On the INEOS, even a year after owning this, it's been out for 3 years, like everything you want to do is $2,000. You want a new rear bumper, it's going to cost you $2,000. You want rock rails, they're going to cost you $2,000. A front bumper, not even a front bumper, a front grill guard, $2,000. There's just not a lot of companies making INEOS parts, and those that are, well, you know, they're having to design them, they're having to build them, they're not selling a lot, and they're the only ones making them, so they get to charge more. Every modification for this car, shockingly expensive. These are some fender panels we had on the car until they fell off. They're just thin aluminum, they're powder coated. The powder coating isn't even that great. They arrived bent, and one of them isn't cut straight, it's crooked. I think those are like $300 or $400. Like parts for this vehicle, aftermarket parts, they're insane. So I've actually been making some parts by myself, like my light brackets. I made those parts. I made an adapter for the trailer hitch. And I think the next thing I'm gonna try, especially since I got some new tools lately, is a cup holder. The cup holders, it's weird, probably a British thing. The cup holders, there's only 2 in the car for 5 seats, and they're really small. You can barely fit a bottle of water in the cup holders. So there's a company that sells, you undo 4 screws, you take out that cup holder, you put a new one in. They do have a nice billet top for it, but it's an $800 cup holder. I'm gonna make my own, but better. And by better, I mean cheaper. Reliability, pretty good. Maintenance, it's okay. Price is just still insane. Which brings us to the next topic, which is everything we've had done to this vehicle since we bought it a year ago. Service, we haven't had any service. We had an oil change, and I changed the oil. So this is all warranty work that we've had done. And since we're like 2.5 hours with traffic from the dealer, we like to save up and wait till we have a few things wrong and then take it in. So we've actually only made 3 trips in for warranty work in the last year. And one of those trips shouldn't really have happened, but we'll talk about that one in a second. First up, in October 2025. So we bought this car in June, July, August, September, October. 4 months after we bought this car, we brought it in for our first warranty work. And that's probably fall in Texas because it started raining, because the first thing that happened is water leak. These super cool windows right up here, we've used them twice in the last year. They leaked. That was a common problem. We had the leak, we brought it in, the dealer knew exactly what to do. They basically took the windows out, took the trim off, resealed everything with some caulking, popped it back in, and we've washed it a few times, it's been through a few rainstorms, doesn't leak. Also moisture related, like leaky windows. Our front parking sensor here just started going crazy. You'd be close to nothing at all and it would just start beeping at you like you're about to run into something. All 3 were fine. It's this front left parking sensor. That was actually kind of new. They seem to have not seen that before, at least not a common INEOS issue. And so they replaced that parking sensor. And then they did a software update on the vehicle. We're having some electrical gremlins. They did a software update that promised to fix a lot of them, and it did fix some of them. The AC was still going a little crazy, but a lot of the other little electrical inconveniences and nonsense, they fixed it with the first update. So the next time we went to visit the dealer was in December, so a couple months after our October fix. And this is the one that probably shouldn't have happened. I don't know if I'm just being a little too crazy, but when they took out the Safari window on the passenger side, it was put back in, I picked up the car, you could see that someone just used a screwdriver to pry the trim down, and there are big screwdriver marks in the trim. And I saw it and it bothered me, and I thought, do I really say something to the dealer? Like, they fixed the car is fine, it's just the trim is scratched up. And then I thought, no, the car is 5 months old, It's brand new, it wasn't cheap, and it's always going to bother me, and we plan on having this thing a long time. I called my dealer and they were great. I actually gave them the part number with the service manual that INEOS provided. They ordered the part, took a while, but once it showed up in December, they installed it and it looks perfectly fine. That was December, and then our next visit happened very recently in June. And June was the 1-year anniversary. So our Grenadier got to visit its British family for his birthday. That's real nice. So we had a couple little things going on, but like I said, we like to let these pile up before bringing it in and have it all taken care of at once. The thing that made us bring it in immediately was the air conditioner just stopped working. It's a Saturday morning, I'm sleeping in, my wife drives to the gym because she's a better human being than I am, and the AC, like, it wasn't blowing hot air, it was just blowing no air. The light was on, it was supposed to be working, and it wasn't. So that was reason enough to take it right in. And also we had a couple other things at the time that needed to be fixed. We had another parking sensor that was going bad. We kind of dealt with this one for a while, but it's really annoying when you're going down the highway at 70 miles an hour and there's a blaring noise and a thing on the screen telling you you're about to hit something. So they replaced another parking sensor. We're up to 2 front parking sensors replaced. The center screen, the one screen in the car with the speedometer, would sometimes randomly turn black and go blank. And we had the New Year's bug. So New Year's 2026, every single Grenadier that has ever been made had almost a Y2K glitch and decided to tell all of the owners that it was overdue for maintenance, it was overdue for service. Ours, I think, was overdue by about 6 years, which is funny because it's a 1-year-old car. But they fixed all of this stuff, and some of the fixes are hilarious. Like I said, the parking sensor was replaced. The air conditioner, there was an air bubble in the coolant hose inside the motor, and I mean the actual engine coolant, not the refrigerant in the AC system. So there's an air bubble in the engine cooling system, which prevented the, I don't know how it makes any sense at all, but they purged that and the AC started working. To get the infotainment screen to start working again, that also is, I found out later, a common INEOS thing. It comes unplugged. So the grounds can come loose, so they tracked down a bunch of wires, found some loose grounds, grounded the infotainment again, and it doesn't turn off anymore. So to fix the maintenance warning and to fix the AC going haywire once it was blowing, they did a software update. And that software update fix, I think, is hilarious. So New Year's Day, you started getting your service warnings. It's June when we brought it in. 6 months later, the company still didn't fix it. So they just told the service centers like, oh no, just reset the date that is due and put it super far in the future. So my next service isn't due for 10 years now. Unfortunately, the air conditioner controls, the hot's supposed to be cold, cold's supposed to be hot, all the chaos. 4 means nothing, 1 means nothing, head, feet, it means nothing. The controls just, they don't work. That's still not fixed. And if anything, since the software update, I think it's gotten worse, or it's just gotten hotter in Texas. I gotta put an air conditioner in this garage. So that's it, 3 trips to the dealer, one of which it probably could have been avoided if I was less OCD or if the dealer was maybe a little more careful, but my dealer's great. They fixed everything else for me. Under warranty, no issues. Actually, the only issue is I really want the pickup truck version of this, the Quartermaster, and they've never given me one as a loaner car. I keep getting Grenadiers. It needs to go in for warranty work and they need to give me the truck. Overall, a year later, would I make the same probably stupid decision and get rid of a perfectly reliable, tastefully modified 4Runner for the Grenadier? Like, yeah, did I mention I want the truck? I want 2. We need more. We need to free up space. I need more Grenadiers in here. This thing may be completely impractical, not very comfortable, but man, it's pretty cool and it's a lot of fun. When you drive these cars around, someone, usually when you're filling up with gas, is going to say something to you about it, especially the bug. Someone who was their first car, they had one in high school, they're gonna come up to you and talk to you about bugs. This thing, whenever you're driving around, everyone just asks you about it constantly. The car hops at Sonic will ask you what it is. My wife was interrupted at a funeral by a security guard asking what this car was. And it's not annoying. I like cars. Cars are fun. We like talking to people about fun cars. So yeah, if you're into it, if you want to not be able to fill up with gas without having a conversation, and you get a lot of gas, 15 miles a gallon on premium, yeah, don't get it if you don't want to be friendly. So really, a year in, I love it. I think we made the right choice. I still have the exact same concerns. Will I be able to change my brakes or at least reset the brake computer when it's time to change the brakes? Is INEOS going to be around long enough to honor the warranty on this thing if I have a major mechanical issue? It's stupid, it's dumb, it's impractical, it's inefficient, and it's the coolest car I've ever owned. And I've learned to accept that INEOS aftermarket parts, there's not a lot more of these on the road, there's not a lot of new companies making parts. They continue to be expensive. So I guess I'm just gonna keep doing my stuff myself. I've made some light brackets, I made a trailer hitch bracket. We have some new tools, so we can actually try and build a new cup holder and use our new laser cutter to make a panel that goes on top so we don't pay $800 for one. And we're coming up on our diff fluid change. It has to be replaced at 12,000 miles. Again, we're right at 10,000 miles, so I need to do that soon. Hopefully there's not a diff fluid computer I have to reset. That's it for today. I wonder what other irresponsible, reckless decisions I can make in the next year. And actually before that, the first one is I'm getting an air conditioner for this garage. That's not That's not reckless at all. That's just healthy. It's been 1 year since buying my INEOS Grenadier. So let's take a look and see what actually, oh, hold on. This isn't my INEOS Grenadier. My INEOS Grenadier is at the dealership having warranty work done again. So let's bring theirs back, pick up mine, and then we'll talk about what living with an INEOS Grenadier for a year has been like.